the laning phase. She offers no wave clear for herself as well, and she takes too much time to scale for teams to pick her. Obviously, she's good against tanks. In this case here for H2K, they have enough to dive onto the Vayne. You got Annie flashing in. You can even throw into Annie if you want to. Hecarim with the ulti diving in. There's so much one-shot potential from H2K. Problem is, once QSS is there, Mikhail's potentially from N-rated, then there's enough cleanses to keep Forgiven alive, and that's obviously why H2K don't want to go late game. By any means.
Not at all. The opposite, of course, true for SK Gaming. You know, I feel like Forgiven might have hinted at this a little bit in his pregame interview when he name-dropped Doublelift.
Maybe.
It's a possibility.
Maybe.
A little bit of sneakiness in there. Now,
Illuminati.
A lot of roam arounds we see from both teams. A couple of deep wards out. H2K trying to get a fix on where SK is, trying to find the lane swap, and if it happens, N-rated spots the ward.
He's baiting it. I'm pretty sure so Forgiven on the top side. There we go. He's baiting everything here. So he shows himself on the bottom side. Even clears the ward away. So now H2K, the only information they have, oh, Jenna's bottom side. Well, maybe there's a 2v2 lane here. Obviously, Forgiven had already placed himself on the top side, setting up a potential freeze as well. And therefore, we will get the lane swap that SK Gaming wanted. Let's see if Forgiven wants to fast push it this time on the Vayne. Typically, you want to freeze it, and you want to leave your Vayne alone because she scales really well in terms of levels and her one-on-one potential. Once you get a few ranks in your W, and you want a slow-paced early game because you want time to farm. You don't want to take down a tower and swap back down to a 2v2 lane against the Kalista.
So in the case that H2K allow this to go forward and just leave Forgiven and Rated alone for a little while, what are the conditions that they need to fulfill in this early game? Because Dragon right now is in their sights. It's very early into this game, but they have it pretty much uncontested if they want it for a while.
So basically what you want to do, if Enrated stays top lane to sit with Forgiven and therefore deny any farm for Odoamne, you want to secure that early Dragon by H2K because you got 4 guys on the bottom side of the map. At the same time as well, if you see Enrated on the top lane, you know there's only maximum 2 guys on the bottom side. That's Freddy and Sven. So if you're 4 people here, you can zone them away from the tier 1 tower, deny all the farm, even take down an early tower and create a global lead for you with the Dragon, and then you swap to the 2v2 lane up top because there's no objective on the bottom side anyway, and you therefore stop the Vayne from just sitting on her own and freezing forever. A lot of it depends on where Enrated shows himself. If he goes back to top lane, Dragon is open for H2K. If he recalls and goes bottom lane instead, it's a 3v4 where SK can stop the Dragon from being taken, which is what I prefer from the supports. He's running down now, and therefore, because he hasn't shown himself after leaving the lane, H2K expect him to be on the bottom side of the map and haven't started the Dragon.
Not yet, indeed. Sing Yarn still poking away at this tower. They don't quite have enough damage to finish it off just yet. Ryu's going a little far forward to find N-rated and a Howling Gale, but it won't do much to him, but a quick knock up.
Forgiven is pushing the lane.
Yeah.
Up top.
But he's not being contested by it just yet. Odoamne will be there soon to fend him off. But it is a little bit different, and he's been doing this solo while N-rated roams around.
Oh, he didn't get the ward in the bush. That can be important for him. I mean, Sven can warp up here.
Oh,
Odoamne really wanted to TP to the tower and pick up the entire wave. There were even 2 waves there. But because you haven't seen anyone on the map for such a long time, you have to expect, I mean, you have to consider the worst. Okay, what's the worst that can happen for Hecarim if he TPs top? The jungler is there, the support is there, it's a 3v1 and you get forced away and you just blew your global teleport for absolutely nothing. That's what happened in this situation. At the same time, because SK didn't show as well, H2K had to respect the fact they could be on the bottom side and therefore not start a Dragon. So by N-rated and Svenska not showing a whole lot in the early game, it left H2K guessing, and they decided not to take any chances and has therefore not gained any advantage early on.
Not at all. With 3 members of SK Gaming up in the top side poised to take this turret, there is still no response from H2K. They've not. But why do you want this tower so fast? You have the Vayne. You don't want to swap the Vayne down at level 4, 2v2. That's not going to accomplish anything for you in the swap. I know H2K is pushing the tower, but that's the trade-off you often take with the likes of a Vayne, that you freeze and deny enemy top lane and get your AD carry fed, and they just get a tower and a Dragon, and then you play it from there. Lulek secures the Gromp. It was being fought over with Freddy. This is definitely an odd start to this game. They know that Freddy's hanging around in that jungle. The towers will go down, one on the top, one on the bottom. H2K slight gold in their favor, but still no Dragon attempt. And now you see Forgiven and Rated moving down the bottom side.
Yeah.
No tower at their backs.
No, which means, first of all, Rek'Sai can sneak in behind you. Rek'Sai has so many ways of ganking over walls with the tunnel. You're gonna find an Orianna here.
Or Oriana's going to find him.
Yeah, just backing away.
There's a level advantage on Fox here.
The good thing SK Gaming did on top side was they bounced the wave on the tower, so it started pushing towards Freddy when he's returning to lane here, so they do deny a little bit more farm from Odoamne. And now, because they've already been on the bottom side, they can start securing vision in the river. H2K just responded by taking the tower, and will now try and contest some of this early warding, which was a big deal in the last game, because SK controlled the river from the early game. Got the early dragons from it. H2K is trying to make sure that does not happen this game.
They have given a little bit of this river control over to SK Gaming. The Svenskjern and Rated in position. So, while Forgiven's taking some serious damage from Yarnin here, he's returned it in kind. Minion wave is there for Yarnin to try and grab a little bit more as Kasing robes his way through the tri-brush. Ward War is just starting up, but there is just no control that H2K has exerted over this Dragon area. They've given up what they've had, and the advantage of SK swapping up the top had been completely negated by that.
They do still have the 2v2 lane they want now, H2K. One of the reasons they picked the Kalista is for her ability to bully a 2v2 lane against Forgiven. So they, honestly, despite not getting Dragon early on, now has the lane setup they were hoping for, with SK pushing that tower so early. Look for them to start getting a CS lead. Aim for kills as well in the lane. One-shot level 6 on your Annie. Once you hit it on Kalista, you got double CC. You can tip her in first with the stun. You can then pick up the Annie and throw her in after with the knock-up. And you can lock SK in basically to the ground and get as many spears as possible. I'm not sure where I was going with that one, but you can lock them down, get many spears, and kill them, Pyra. That's what you want to do.
That is what you want to do. You definitely want to kill the opposing team in all of this. H2K,
yeah. That's how you, well,
that is one of the ways you win. It's an indirect win condition. We'll go with that for this show. But for the meanwhile, H2K have been on the up and up here. They have wrestled some of this map control back. You see Lulix actually starting off the Dragon, but it's in plain sight of an SK ward. The difference is there is nothing they can do about this because Forgiven and Rated are locked up in the bottom side and are not strong enough to really fight this.
And again, this is why H2K is happy enough getting that early 2v2 lane, because as you see now, Vayne is stuck defending a big wave or just farming a big wave, so she's not going to be able to join, and that's just a very easy Dragon for H2K. They can keep pushing the bot lane. Once they do it, what they have to do is have Lulix and Kasing together once they get some wards, potentially side stones from them, especially from Kasing. And then you start invading into the blue side jungle here from SK Gaming, because you know the Vayne is stuck farming on the tower, taking quite a lot of time to scale up. You invest all your wards into the jungle here, so you can see everything SK can do, and you can very easily move from bot lane to mid lane, and suddenly your 4 guys showing up against an Oriana defending on her own, and you just take that mid tower. They have to be able to use this 2v2 advantage.
Yeah, the longer the game goes, it gets better for SK's scaling composition. However, if they keep the pressure on, they'll keep them starved of gold. Let's see what they're able to make do. For now, it's a number advantage for SK Gaming as the Shockwave goes wide. And Ryu whimsies away from Fox. With that crucial ultimate not available, you'd think they would want to be muscling in on it, but Kasing and Yarnin are still pushing in the bottom.
No wards for Kasing. He hasn't gone back yet to complete the side stun, used everything. Same goes for Lulix. He's sitting on 1500 gold at the moment, so they're waiting for some key items before they really start taking over the map and push SK back. But you can still see this 2v2 lane here. They're not afraid of a Vayne at all at this point.
No, they are not.
You should be afraid.
They may be afraid of Lee Sin. Oh, there's a condemn into the wall right now, and final hour gets bobbed. Yarnin, maybe they should have been afraid as he kites back, but in comes Svenskjern, gets the kickoff, and he goes down. That's first blood. Thanks to the red buff, it goes over to Svenskjern. Kasing trying to make his escape.
And this is why you need these wards here in that jungle before you start pushing up so far into the enemy territory, because suddenly the jungler is going to show up. That was a good stun from Forgiven into the wall, and then Sven managed to clean it up. In the end, suddenly SK Gaming gets another first blood for themselves, and a little bit of a change for Lulix compared to what we normally see when Rek'Sai is played in Europe with the warrior enchant. He's going for Syndol. We've seen this in Korea and China quite a lot. I like it because it means your scaling late game is a lot better, and you can see for H2K how they're getting ready for SK Gaming to play a slow-paced game, and they're gonna try and have something at least to answer back with. You can always make the argument and say, shouldn't you have gone warrior and try and snowball harder though?
Yeah, but then it obviously puts really all of your eggs in one basket. I think this is the smart move. They're hedging their bets, and they're saying, we don't need Lulix to be a primary damage dealer. What we do need him to be is able to get in and engage on the enemy team and soak a lot of damage. And that's the path that they're going for. So he'll give over this blue buff to Ryu. A little bit of a misplay does net first blood for SK Gaming and evens up the gold score. However, I still feel H2K in a good position. You take a look at the item difference, though, in that bottom side, with Forgiven picking up his BF sword now. It's definitely going to start to hurt a little bit more.
Going back to the old school double lift style. Rushing BF sword on a Vayne. Not the Blade of the Ruined King we see for so many Vayne players around the world here. For him, and Forgiven is maxing at the moment his Q, so that does explain the BF sword. He's aiming for a high amount of burst damage when he trades, so just like you Q in, or you auto attack and Q, and then you get a big chunk of damage with the BF sword and the max tumble from him. He's still not able to trade properly with a Kalista, so H2K, with Lulex down here as well, has to push up this lane and get into that jungle and start getting down these deep wards here if they want to try and pressure SK, especially in the mid lane, which is the tower they want to get down. Precisely,
and not only that, once they do have some vision in that jungle, they'll see if SK tries to come down, contest any further dragons. It's going to be a little bit of time before that happens. However, they leave the wave at the feet of Forgiven and Rated and start to look to rove into the jungle. We'll see how far they get. They're spotted, though.
Doesn't matter. You are stronger in a fight in a 3 versus 3, so you don't care about SK seeing you. All you care about getting on wards. That's fine for you. It is a little bit surprising though with this build here from Forgiven, if you consider the fact that Vayne is so good at taking down tanks, and then you want your Silver Bulls to do as much damage as possible. You want early attack speed as well, because you are going to be fighting against a Skirmisher Saber Hecarim, a Cinderhulk Rek'Sai as well, so you're going to have 2 tanks stacking HP against you. That's where the Blade of the Ruined King comes in extremely handy for him, and maxing your W as well. But here's the mid lane pressure from H2K after
they should be able to take this, even with Svenskeren and Fox here. No, the waves are going to get cleared away. So for now, they're going to have to back off of it. It's still a bit of time before the next dragon becomes available. The Rek'Sai Tunnel Network getting put to use by Lulex as he roves around and gets a little bit more farm for himself. Yarn and Kasing still back at this, and you have to fear for them if the Lee Sin comes and knocking once again. There's the ward they needed, and they got to clear that pink away too. Yeah, it's not enough for them, so they can't really push up to the tier 2, simply because, as you mentioned, they're afraid of Svenskeren. Oh, Shockwave pulling in Ryu. Fox always going all in. He throws down the Ignite, but Ryu gives himself a shield and a boost. And he zooms away, but maybe not fast enough. Yes, it might be Wild Growth. He's still chasing. Fox is not going to give up the chase just yet. And an ultimate burn for ultimate. 2 summoners burned, however, by Fox. Not worth it at all. Definitely not. Not worth it at all. You're the main defense in that mid lane, which you know H2K wants to push. You just used everything. You had ulti and summoner, so you're now extremely weak. And look what H2K is doing instantly, saying, okay, you got nothing. We'll take the fight to you right now. The Timbers is down. They're going to smite him. They're going to knock him up. It comes on a one-man. Kasing cleans up the kill. We're playing Orianna. You don't have to kill people early on. You can sit and farm. That's fine. I think Fox might have forgotten for just a second. Big mistake from him. Being so greedy. Not even respecting the ulti from Ryu coming in. This tower is going down. Dragon has spawned. That's going to be the next one then for H2K to pick up. Odoamne can just go and defend this tier 2 tower on the top side because they don't even need him with Orianna being dead already. He's almost got teleport available too. It's going to have it about the same time as Freddy. SK can try to fight this. Orianna is back up, but it's going to be a while before they get to it. SK are just hoping to stall this out as they move towards the Dragon Pit. They connect onto Lulex though, and he gets kicked over the wall before he can take his tunnel. SK are trying to make a power play here, starting up the Dragon, while H2K are still regrouping. Yeah, but H2K, after taking that mid tower, everyone just went back to base. They could have easily set up this Dragon here, because again, you even had the TP from your Hecarim. That was going to be, at best, a 5 versus 4 for you. And yet they backed away, allowed SK to sneak in and take a free Dragon. Very surprising play. And H2K, again, trying to play very safe and defensive. And SK is instantly reacting and saying, okay, if you want to give us something, we'll take it. 1-1 now on the Dragons. After that misplay from H2K. Let's see what they can get here. Kasing gonna find Svenskeren, dodges out the Sonic Wave. Ryu at his back as well. The ward's thrown down by the jungler from SK Gaming. Still some pressure on the mid side. This time the Sonic Wave hits Kasing. Not followed through by Svenskeren though. Doesn't know which friends are hanging around the corner. Ryu in this bottom side, pushing the farm back as Forgiven grabs a little bit more from himself. Kasing goes forward, but the ultimate is popped by Forgiven, and here comes Svenskeren. It's suddenly at 3v2, and Ryu and Kasing have to back out.
A lot of different builds here in this game. The Blade of the Ruined King first item on Kalista has died out quite a bit here in Europe as well. Normally we see BT into either still the Hurricane if you're not against a big massive front line of double tank, or otherwise you go for like Phantom Dance or Static Shift and your focus is high amount of single target damage to take down this tank. Blade is coming in. This is because H2K wants to try and match the 1-3-1 setup that SK can pull out with a Vayne, with the likes of a Shyvana. So you go Blade of the Ruined King first to simply be stronger at chasing up as well once these towers are down, because it's a longer lane. You get more mobility from it, and of course the one-on-one pressure.
Oh, the pony goes one direction, Freddy goes another. Tower shots being tanked, but Yarnan is still able to come up with the kill as Fox tries to chase him down, burns his shockwave for a flash, and Odoamne plays himself out.
Yeah, H2K put Kalista in the mid lane so she could start roaming once you push in the wave. Ends up in the top lane with the kill. Tower is still alive, but rest of H2K able to defend the mid lane as well. Gotta rush for this bottom side. They might go for a second one in the top lane. Look at Odoamne here with the home guys.
He's coming in. Yarnan's still really low. He's burning away, and Fox takes him down, but he'll pay dearly for it in just a moment. That is going to be the kill answer picked up by Odoamne. Meanwhile, back in the bottom lane, Forgiven, they're trying to make something happen. Another teleport burn by Freddy as he gets right back into the action.
Yeah, and Ryu and Kasing down the bottom lane defending against the Vayne. She doesn't really have any pressure on that tower here. They should be able to hold it for now. Meanwhile, two junglers in the mid lane fighting each other as well for pressure in the, or control in the jungle.
In the Raptor pits.
Fights everywhere. H2K knows they have to make plays, they have to snowball. SK Gaming, they just seem to love to always take a skirmish. They never back down from the fight.
Not at all. Svenskeren, don't know if he immediately sensed Odoamne was there as he decided to go in. He does manage to pick up some farm. Superior jungling smite coming in. Thanks to the Rangers Trailblazer. Forgiven and Unrated still trying to push back. The Timbers is falling on Forgiven. The damage is huge. However, it's not quite enough, and the Monsoon beats Kasing and Ryu back, looking for the chase. Ryu looking to cut him off ahead, but there's a big minion wave there. See if they can do it. He tunnels through. He tunnels his sights on Enrated. Forgiven. Final hour condemns into the wall. And they'll be making it out.
And while H2K has done so much work around the mid lane, around the top lane with the ganks coming in, it's basically meant that Forgiven has been able to sit back on Vayne and just farm the bottom lane at all times. Every time H2K tries to kill him, he managed to escape because there's such a long time between them. So he will always have summoners back up or ulti back up with his stealth and to dance around. He has Enrated, who again is a support who doesn't like to roam, but he likes to sit with his AD carry and make sure he can always farm. So SK Gaming, despite being slightly behind in kills, slightly behind in towers, are getting farm on the right champions. Look at the carries here. Orianna in the mid lane as well, 161. This is what they want. H2K needs all the dragons the next 10, 12, 13, 16, whatever minutes. They need all the dragons, Pyra. And they need to be able to put pressure on the tier 2 tower soon as well. Otherwise, SK Gaming will get too much time to scale up.
Exactly, and you can see in the frantic pace that H2K is trying to play this game out that they are well aware of this predicament. The longer the game goes on, and the next dragon that they need, a minute and a half away. Pings flying all around as SK Gaming gobble up farm throughout the jungle. A solid amount of vision from both teams on this bottom side. Let's see if H2K can set up for one. Forgiven going quite far forward. He is flanked by Enrated. However, Yarnan going to attempt to defend the tower solo for just a moment. Odoamne in hot pursuit.
Yarnan really is going back to the old style of Kalista builds. Hurricane second for him, so he wants wave clear. He wants one-on-one potential with the Blade. And Shyvana is the big tank for SK Gaming. If he's able to ignore the Shyvana and get onto the backline, then he can do a lot of damage. Lulex now
kicked in the pit. He's going to flash himself away and tunnel. Still very, very low. 40 seconds till this dragon. SK have shown their muscles, flexing them to try and push H2K back yet again. Does not bode well for the H2K squad if they want to secure the dragons. They need to snowball this game ahead.
No flash now for Lulex. Sven's ulti will be up in about 40 seconds time. So not there if H2K starts the dragon instantly. but they gotta go in like they're doing here. Establish that vision control first, so they can see what's happening. Freddy doesn't have TP. Same goes for Odon. So that's just a fight in the top lane. But that's a fight that Shyvana is gonna do really well in.
So Odon can make it back to the safety of his tower. He won't go down, but you're right. Freddy definitely came out better on that one. Meanwhile, you've got Ryu back in the mid lane, poking some more of that down as Yarnin and Kasing try to do the same on the bottom side, but they're not going to go ahead and try to rush this one. Lulex has joined Ryu. They're going to clear out a ward. The Sonic Wave not able to hit. Forgiven and Rated, though, roaming together. The Prey Seeker will land. That'll just clear away the shield. SK Gaming just seem to be bunching closer together. If H2K do the same, a Shockwave could come in and spell the end of them for now. We'll see how this one does shake out. SK Gaming seem to have control of the Dragon area.
They just need to stall right now, keep H2K busy around the Dragon, and let Freddy win the one-on-one on the top lane on this Shyvana here and keep pushing it in. Mid tower should be... Oh, he's down already. The tier 2 is not really any threat. H2K, what they're doing is trying to push in the wave to force SK away from the Dragon and go back and try and re-clear some of the wards, but there's no pings. All the sweepers are on cooldown as well, so they're not going to be able to deny any vision from SK completely. And we might get a fight. Look at Freddy sitting in base. Home guard is completed for him. Doesn't find a ward to TP on. There's one behind the Dragon.
Same is true of Odawamne.
Yeah, Red Buff. Yeah, both
He's
top
close to back in.
He has TP. It's a defensive one though.
There's a teleport coming in. Yep, Freddy's coming in. He's not going to get the home guard on. And they are starting
TP.
the Dragon right now. Odawamne's coming in. Where's he coming? It's around the backside. They're trying to bail out. Odawamne. Oh, Forgiven. He's down. They've turned the fight to start it on. The Shockwave only hits the timbers as Odawamne and Lulex bash their way through the SK front line. In comes Fed to try to finish the job, but he just can't. In the end, he's got to flash away. Yarden, Blade of the Rune King on. They're chasing on Fox. He's got the protect. It won't be enough. 2 kills to H2K, just like that, and they clean up.
Worst possible engage from SK Gaming. Defensive TP from the Shyvana. H2K could see them, and that also allowed Odawamne to get the flank with the home guards. Forgiven got caught out in the front line. Instantly just died on the Vayne. Baron has been started. You have the Kalista with her high amounts of stacks.
Still a 50-50 here.
Somewhat risky. Freddy's coming down as well on this Shyvana, and they're very low from H2K, but they're trying to bang on the fact they can do about 2,000 damage from Yarnin.
They are going to take the smite fight if it comes to it, but H2K are so low, they have to back away from this one. The Baron's not been reset yet, but SK still trying to force the fight, and Raiden gets smited. They're going to go for it again, but Forgiven is in the middle, and he's healthy. Chasing down Lulex now, turning his attention to Odawamne. Picks up 1, picks up 2. Can he get the 3? The double kill for Vayne is not what you want in SK. They are now eyeing the Baron for themselves.
This game here is going completely crazy. H2K felt like they had to go for that Baron. It was so risky. Didn't pay off at all. SK Gaming looks to secure it. Can Lulex tunnel over the wall and steal it?
He goes in, he takes his time to smite.
No,
it's going to be picked up by Freddy. 1-2-2. His own smite comes in. And Dragon's Descent to chase down Lulex. Will it be enough? It just might. And there's the old... No, it's canceled.
That's not how it works.
You don't have enough time. Goodbye.
One hit and you're out of your ulti from the Rex side.
Let's take a look at that again. This was just whack.
Mistakes. Okay, so first, SK Gaming with the TP from Freddy. So now all 5 are grouped together. There's no flank option from Freddy, and suddenly the Hecarim comes in. Look at Forgiven here. It's a flash tables from Kasing. There's no defense to help him, no defensive items. He goes down. It's a 1 fight for H2K, but they still take a lot of damage across the board here. And that's why once they go Baron, they cannot commit 100% to it. Forgiven shows up, gets 2 kills, and then SK Gaming picks up the Baron as well from it. It looks good at first. Here you can even push up the mid lane, get a bit of damage on the tier 2, or you can go and simply say, we won the fight. Let's reset the whole thing, be ready for another one, because we're still stronger at this point.
Right, the Baron attempt seemed a bit gritty. It seemed a bit rash since they were in the area. They move up for it immediately, but now not only have they given that up, they've given 2 more kills over to Forgiven. They give another Dragon to SK Gaming. And after a miraculous fight for them that was just off of SK mistakes, tables have turned once again, and it's looking grim for H2K.
Suddenly, yeah, they are still strong enough to win the fights. But the build here from Yarnin, one of the reasons people stop going for it is because your late game is not very strong with the Hurricane. Even with the Blade, you don't have enough AD to really stack up your rend damage. in these fights coming in. You don't have any crit to take down a single target either. So when it comes to dealing with the likes of a Shyvana, even at least in late when he's building full tank, it takes too long for you to kill them. And you rely too much on getting so many hits before your spear or before your Rend does enough damage that you fall off very hard compared to other AD carries. It's obviously no surprise that a Vayne will outscale you. But with the build here from H2K and from Yanin, once again, it makes the window smaller and smaller. Time is running out.
Towers seem to be running out as well. SK, after grabbing the outer bottom side, they go ahead and rotate up towards the mid. Take that one, no problem. They are going to have to deal with the pesky pony up top, but I don't think it's going to be an issue for them just now. He's backing away. The mini wave will do some of the job for him, but Freddy's there to clean it up.
2 towers from SK quickly picked up. Bottom side, bottom lane, and the mid lane from them. The gold they need. Forgiven, obviously maxing his Silver Bull's second here, has now started to get some proper attack speed in.
He's got a way to bail himself out of some bad situations too. The Quicksilver Sash.
I mean, the way to shut him down for H2K is purely by one-shotting him. Hecarim coming in with Home Guards, Flash Tippers from Kessing, like we saw before here, near the Dragon, and you kill him. The QSS, the Mikhails from Enrated, his ulti should be enough to protect Forgiven as long as he's not caught in the front line. And that's where H2K suddenly find themselves in a situation where they don't have the damage to take him down.
At the moment, that's definitely looking like the case. So while Forgiven rolls around, grabs himself a Scuttle Crab in the river, SK Gaming as a whole have set their sights on this top side. H2K there to defend it, but see if they want to take another fight. Baron buff's worn off. Still just 1 Dragon to 2. 5 and 5 are our kill scores, with a 3,000 gold advantage going in favor of SK Gaming and 3 towers to 3.
Yeah, so SK still needs to rely on pushing multiple lanes at once. You don't really have a whole lot of siege coming in. Short range from Vayne. Orianna is good, but that's not enough for you to just go 5 together and push down a tower. Too easy for H2K to defend it with Lulu, with the Kalista and her Hurricane as well. Odoamne is trying to set up for a fight here. He only has 1 ward around this mid lane he can TP to. There's nothing behind SK. But as long as H2K can stop them from 1v1ing, they can defend their towers and look for a pick. Or look for the right engage with your Hecarim, with your Annie to win the fight. You can still one-shot the Orianna. Quickly turn it into a 4v5.
Still very possible, and they will look for that or for Forgiven. So they've got a few more wards down. SK is looking like they don't want to fight this one out. They're just trying to beat the siege back. There's a wave building against them in the top side. That's where Odoamne is going to be heading, so he's decided to give up the ghost on this fountain sit. For now, SK Gaming have been able to push them back in the mid.
And we are going to have to see H2K simply ignore the Vayne at first and just focus on this Orianna. Pop the Orianna first.
Then you have no fear of going all in.
And then you can start chasing on. A chase forward against SK. That's another reason for the Cinderhole coming in for Lulix as well. For him and Odoamne, it's about buying enough time for the Kalista to get enough stacks with this Hurricane to take down the targets. In order to do that and not just be kited around or lose the race in killing front lines, then you have to kill the Orianna instantly. There's no defensive item yet. Hourglass will come in, yes, but you cannot do that if you're CC'd. And then it's about, can Enrated Mikhails him fast enough, save him in time, or can you one-shot him? That should be the objective for H2K whenever they fight. Dragon 1 minute, that's another setup for them, potentially, but they have to be there already, setting up that early vision, because you need wards behind SK Gaming, around their own blue buff, around the tier 2 mid lane from SK, so you have that TP option for Hecarim. Otherwise, it's too easy for SK to spot him, throw the ball from Orianna where he's TPing, and you just stop the home guard instantly.
Yeah, and even though you see him sitting on the fountain there, unfortunately, SK's done a great job at clearing away those wards. So for H2K, they keep trying to trade it around.
Look at the ward in the mid lane.
There is the one in the mid that hasn't been spotted. Odoamne is not going for it just yet. They're waiting for SK to bunch up or to fully commit. Ryu trying to make himself look tasty.
Decides not to go for it. This means Dragon for SK. If H2K decided to recall now, like they just did to try and complete a third item for Yanin,
might be what they do.
You just surrendered the Dragon, or at least the vision around it, for SK. There's still that ward behind, but Odoamne has to go back to base to renew his home guards if he wants to use it properly.
See if he has enough time to do it. 5 seconds left on the next Dragon. This would be SK's third, H2K's second, and it looks like SK in prima position to trade it up. No, they're going to just try to trade it away.
Yeah, they want to trade it for top tower instead of fighting around it Freddy does have TP. Can always go up there and defend it. Tower is still quite low because Odon has been on it a few times. But H2K
be able to take it down.
They're simply saying we don't feel confident enough fighting now. So we're gonna try and create some sort of catch up in gold. Some way just get like another item completed before we aim for a fight by taking that trade.
So with that, SK Gaming secure their third dragon of the game after H2K had been able to do the first. This is H2K just saying, yeah, they don't want to fight. They want to wait until they're in a prime position. But the problem is that window, as you mentioned earlier, is still closing here. It's 31 minutes on the clock. Bane's starting to look pretty scary. The Orianna, you only need to land one shockwave in the right place at the right time, Deficio.
Yeah.
And it could be all over.
And H2K is running out of damage. We have a Lulu mid lane. She's never going to be able to carry a team fight late game.
We didn't touch on this as much. It does seem like it was still an attempt to take away, but they decided to pick it up for Ryu. Very strange decisioning.
Well, the thing is, when you have Hecarim top lane, you have a damage dealer top. So that is okay with the Lulu. The problem is, again, as highlighted so many times, it just means late game you don't have the damage to do anything. You need to snowball from it. You need to be able to use the Lulu in these early fights, where an AP Lulu offers a fantastic amount of HP bonus, the shield as well. That is hard to take down. So you can go super aggressive on the likes of a Kalista with BT shield, Lulu shield, and the Whimsy. You can really jump around with this Hurricane and start getting stacks on the backline of SK. But we just never really got to that point. There's been one good fight for H2K.
I'll see if there'll be another one. There's a teleport coming in, but there's no home guard on it. Might be hoping it's enough to scare them away. As in comes Sven scaring. Yeah, he jumps onto Ryu. There we go. The disengage from the Howling Gale, but Sven's isolated from the rest of the team. Not for long as Freddy comes in with the Dragon to set the ball. It's going to pull an Odoamne as he holds on to Forgiven. They look to change direction on him. The Monsoon's out. Forgiven staying alive. And it's going to be Odoamne that goes down, the first casualty of this battle. Forgiven still kiting Lulex around. And Ryu tries to come in, make the difference. It won't be it. A double kill goes over to Fox as Kasing had also fallen. And SK Gaming, 3 kills and a Baron. Thank you very much.
Yeah, H2K is simply not able to get the right engage. Let's see what happens. Ryu is still staying around, trying to annoy them and delay them a little bit while Yanin takes a mid tower.
This is not a good trade though for H2K, no matter how you slice it. Baron goes in favor of SK. Yarnin will be able to polish off the mid tier 2. That's another 3 minutes of Baron buff that SK have got to work with, and they so far have proved very deft. Let's see how this fight happens.
Yeah, so Odo on the TP's in from the bottom lane. No home guards. He's not able to get a good engage onto SK. They disengage at first. Freddy, beautiful flank from him. Forgiven, going super aggressive on Yanin. And meanwhile, the rest of SK not really taking a whole lot of damage. So Lulu's not able to provide anything. The AD carry has been pushed out. And there was no home guard from your Hecarim. So they could play aggressive from SK. They could keep shielding up and stay alive. And just pick whatever target they wanted to.
Easy peasy. I do feel like the difference maker in that one, the lack of home guards from Odoamne meant the engage just wasn't what they wanted it to be. And Freddy's flank just was everything SK needed.
Lack of home guards and lack of vision for H2K. When you have the better early mid game, you need to control the map. They never got to deep water jungle when they had the better 2v2 lane. So they didn't manage to punish SK fairly hard on that one. Whenever the fights happened here, remember the last dragon? H2K gave it up for top tower. Just backed away, said, okay, we don't feel like we can get the right fight here. Maybe we have a few key items we want to complete first. And H2K also, SK also controlled the Baron area. So by them rushing it, you put H2K in a situation where they don't have time to go back with the Hecarim, set up that home guard properly, because there's no wards for him to TP on. Really just a problem, and the window is closed.
It is starting to look that way indeed. SK Gaming now on the siege with the Baron and powered cannon minion. There'll be a few more in a moment. Meanwhile, they've got Freddy in the bottom, and that's going to draw attention of not only Ryu, but Yarnin down there to push him off, and that means the mid lane is going to be under fire for a while. Freddy's got a lot of spears sticking in him. Let's see if they have enough to pull him out and finish him off. The burnout's on as he tries to juke away. Not nearly enough damage. That is one scaly dragon.
No last whisper yet for Yanin. He's been fairly delayed with the Bladed Ruin King coming in as the first item for him. And therefore a currently 327 armor Shyvana. Doesn't really mind your rent too much and managed to stay alive. SK suddenly applying pressure on the top side. The 2 outer turrets left for them are on different or opposite lanes. So they just have to either go 5 or just put Freddy down in one of the sides. This is an engage from Odoamne.
One way they're going to take it. Odoamne goes in, Svenskeren follows up. The kick doesn't go where he wants it to, and they may have a chance to turn the fight around, but they don't have the damage, and it looks like we're back to the siege game here, Deficio. The Baron-empowered minions and the strength of SK Gaming. What can H2K do? There is no more Hecarim ult as Odoamne just moves around the tower under heavy fire here. Svenskeren, he's now the one with a bunch of spears sticking through him as Kasing gets thrown in. They don't get the stun they want. Svenskeren now is going to go down, smited at the end of it all. Yarnan's going to be the one to pick it up, and the ball, the shockwave, won't go where they want. Maybe SK will turn this one around or not. I think so. Forgiven has gone down. H2K are going to clean house, and they manage just barely. They lose Ryu and Kasing, but that was a fight they needed.
It was very much the fight they needed. SK Gaming was still stuck around that tower there. Let's see what happens at first. A lot of the members are taking quite some damage from SK. They're gonna throw in Kasing to try and start the fight. He gets the tippers down as well. Who is it on to? Nobody yet from him. But in the end, because SK had already taken some damage, and because Forgiven now got caught quite a little bit from Odoamne, and then Ryu hopped on and Lulu flashing in, trying to get the Vayne down. They removed the damage from SK, they managed to clean up. Yarnan this time had enough time to get so many stacks on SK that he could provide a lot of damage. And I might have called the window was too close, a little bit too early. If H2K can get another fight like that, where they can get on to Forgiven, with potentially even a Lulu flashing in behind them.
They're going to open the window right back up.
They opened the window. That Monsoon for Enrated, it wasn't really his fault.
Oh!
Sven got it, 4 dragons. But that Monsoon before here, if you noticed, it knocked Ryu also further back into Forgiven because he flashed it at first. It was not really Enrated's fault, but just a bit of unlucky circumstance for him.
Kasing. H2K tried to double up in this situation. And unfortunately for them, not only did Svenskeren make it out with the dragon, he picked up Kasing on top of it. Just seems like H2K not respecting the timing windows. Let's see if they can do this one. Forgiven is now being targeted out by Odoamne after the ult comes in. Final hour, heal is popped. Ryu looking to come around the side, but Forgiven is already gone.
Used everything to stay alive for him. Heal, flash, ulti. TP blown from Odoamne. That's going to be important for the next fight, that he doesn't have the TP home guard option. Freddy will have that advantage on the Shyvana. Dragon is up, Baron, 1 minute 50. That's going to be the next objective here for SK. They don't really have to walk down and siege the tower because they got 4 dragons, so they can wait for that one to spawn, pick up the number 5, or they can set up this Baron here and know that there's no TP option from Odoamne, so you can see him coming. You can predict and position yourself to stop him from reaching Forgiven. That was the mistake in the last fight. H2K managed to get onto Forgiven for whatever reason, with flashes, with Monsoon shooting them back. Had he stayed alive, SK could have still won that fight. But H2K, I like the fact they're showing they're not giving up. Saying, no, this is not over yet. We don't start talking about game 3. We still believe we can win this game here. We have to get the carries down, and we're going for it.
Going for it all the way, but will it be enough to take down SK before they scale out of control? That is the question. SK Gaming find themselves in a 5,000 gold advantage. Yeah,
we're already there.
It's starting to get crazy, but they're still managing to take fights here, and this is the tenacity of H2K Deficio.
We're at the point where you have to outplay the other team. You're in a disadvantage, comp-wise, in terms of scaling, but there's always the outplay potential in League of Legends. You can have 5 teamos, and you can still win a team fight.
With 5 teamos.
If you outplay the other team. That's H2K, what they're trying to do.
Deficio.
It is. I mean, imagine if you set up for 5 teamers around. Oh, that's insane.
I don't want to think about it. Let's go back to this one. H2K, they've definitely got a long climb up, but what do they have to do in this situation? Obviously, deny the Baron, I feel like, is the big thing.
SK just want to set up around Baron, push the bottom lane with Freddy once his TP is ready, and then nobody can go down to defend it because there's no... Well, okay, Rek'Sai can go down and defend it. That can be the only one for H2K, but he can't really stop Shyvana from getting any damage. So therefore, they're trying to engage from H2K.
They're going to try. The Timbers goes on end. Rated. Do they have enough damage to take him down as he burns his flash immediately? Svenskeren now targeted out as he ward hops away. And SK Gaming have made it out in the 4v5. Unopposed on the bottom side. Of course, it is Freddy pecking away at this turret, and H2K can't back safely. There's too many members of SK now back in their faces.
Can't back. They can't really start the Baron either and try and force the TP from Freddy because SK is still around. Not a whole lot was used. Flash bomb and raided, that was about it.
Free turret for SK.
SK Gaming's side. They can keep pushing in. Now they're fighting.
Is in the wall. He's gonna not be able to make it over in time. He's gonna go down. That's Svenskeren picking him up. Can H2K salvage the fight? Sven takes a lot of damage from Yarnan, but it won't be nearly enough. Freddy still unopposed on this bottom side. H2K have to make this count. And are they going to? It's gonna be a close call. Ottawamne just pushed back time and again.
SK Gaming is playing it so well in this late game here. They know how strong the composition is. They know they can aim for these small picks. And of course, with Freddy pushing with the TP advantage, well, nobody's there to stop him before now. Yarnan is down here.
They found Fox though. Oh, he's gonna flash into the Baron pit as Forgiven picks up Kasing. SK Gaming now boldly start the Baron off. The Monsoon healing them all up. Baron already below half its health, and H2K shaking their heads as they back away from this one. Ryu actually didn't finish his animation. Now the chase is on for him.
Very patient and standard play from SK. Using that Shyvana late. As soon as someone showed to defend, well, you start the Baron because you're 5 versus 4. You know it. You can take it. You have 2 tanks who can stay around that Baron for such a long time. Nice setup. H2K knew they had to try and make a play. Didn't get the right engage. Therefore lost another Baron. And Dragon 130. That's going to be number 5 for SK. Unless Lulex can pull off a steal.
Unless Lulex can pull off a steal. We've already seen a couple Svenskerens today. See if the opposite holds true. Dragon won't be available for another minute and 15 seconds, but SK Gaming have the siege in their favor with these empowered minions for now. I'll just send Forgiven into the middle to deal with him as Ottawamne tries to push him back.
Forgiven keeping his fairly low amount of attack speed built on this Vayne. A lot of focus on just stacking attack damage instead, and simply try and dive around and get a few hits on the carries. Every single team fight, he's been flashing in towards Yarnan or Ryu, except for the one they lost where he was caught in the back. But he's aiming to hit the carries more than the tanks for himself with this build for him. And now obviously we are in late game as a Vayne, so he can somewhat do what he wants. He will do a lot of damage to every single one. You don't care about tanks with the true damage late.
No, you don't. You can shred through them alike.
But he doesn't have the attack speed, at least, to do it. So it's going to take him a little bit longer, but that's where SK is just looking to roll over H2K and get to the carries anyway.
See if they're able to accomplish that one. Can't help but think SK definitely in a better position to contest this Dragon. They're up 10,000 gold. This will be number 5 if they take it. H2K cannot afford to give this one up. They're sitting on Ottawamne. He's got the TP. He's going to use it. But they're going to collapse around him. Svenskeren knows exactly what's up, and he's going to juke around him nonetheless. In comes Ottawamne. Does he have anything? He's found and raided, but they push him back immediately, and then he ults right back in. Let's see if he can stay alive. Svenskeren now trying to take the fight to the rest of them. Lulex on Forgiven, but there's no one else around. Svenskeren takes down Ottawamne, and Lulex is going to fall right after. Yarnan now focused out, kick back in. He's not going to go down just yet, but then it's going to be Svenskeren finishing the job. Kasing chased out. The shockwave not going to go anywhere, but they don't need it. SK Gaming 4 kills to 1 after Freddy gets cleaned, and this has got to be inhibitors here to Vicio.
Oh, for sure for SK Gaming. They saw the engage coming in. Everyone just kited back. They stuck with the Vayne here from Enrated. At least Oriana was nearby as well, and you just kept him safe at first. Freddy dove onto the backline of H2K. As soon as the engage fails, well, then SK Gaming can clean house.
Clean house they did indeed. It took them a little longer this time. They tried something a bit different, and guess what? It worked out. 44.5. SK Gaming are 2-0 up over H2K.